As an infectious disease doctor, I like to try to help people prevent infections in their children. It's much better to try to prevent things than cure them once you have it. So what can you do to keep your baby safe? Well, a simple thing like hand washing goes a long way. So you know when you watch your child, whatever they see in their environment, whatever they come across, they're going to pick it up and stick it right in their mouth. So if lately your hands have been somewhere that you don't want your children to get a hold of, you need to wash your hands before you interact with your children. If you have children in a group setting, they're likely not going to wash too frequently, but get them to wash their hands or wash their hands for them before they eat, before they do something that's going to allow whatever germs are on their hand to get into their body. Now, how are infections spread? Well, it turns out that hands are by far the most important way things get spread around. So remember when you were a kid, or when I was a kid, my grandmother told me, oh, don't go out with a wet head, you'll get some kind of illness. It's not the wet head that does it. It's the germs that get transmitted from person to person. Now, how does that happen? Well, if you watch a child, watch what they do. Every few minutes they're rubbing their eyes, they're picking their nose, they're sticking something into their mouth. And they actually did a study where they looked at children in daycare to see how often does a young infant put something in their mouth. 54 times an hour, literally every minute. So we know that's what's happening. We also know that children pick their nose and rub their eyes. But it's not just children. They actually did a study and looked at adults to see, do adults rub their eyes and pick their nose too? And they looked at several groups. First, they looked at Sunday school. Well, you know, people are watching you, you're in a circle. People didn't pick their nose, but they did rub their eyes. 3 or 4 times an hour, they were rubbing their eyes. So putting whatever was in their hands directly into a mucous membrane. That's the way that you can get sick from it. Now, what about nose picking in other settings? Well, the other group they looked at was medical grand rounds, a bunch of doctors sitting in an auditorium. And guess what? Nose picking was as common as eye rubbing. If you don't believe me, on your way home today, look in the car next to you. Some of us need not look outside our own car to see that nose picking is normal adult behavior. Now, I'm not going to tell you we're going to stop people from picking their nose, but we want whatever you get to not end up with your child or with another person. So wash your hands after any kind of nose picking, eye rubbing, etc., so that you don't take whatever you have and give it to your child.